Welcome to Clarity and Purpose. Our world is full of people who are overworked and overwhelmed. They lose focus on what matters, struggle to find a vision for the future, and lose time with those they love. We help businesses and their teams clearly understand their purpose and help them communicate more effectively. I'm your host, James Thorne. I'm joined by my co-host, Jake Jordan. Hey, Jake.
What's up?
Hey, man. We take pictures all the time from our phones, right? I don't know if you're into, there we go right now. What is the first thing you look at in a group photo as soon as the picture's been taken? What's the first thing you look at? Yourself.
Yeah.
That some of you, your mind's being blown. You're like, you're right. You look at yourself first. Why do we do that?
Yeah. Well, because we're selfish.
I mean,
you know what the most popular word in the human language is?
Your name. That's
right. Your brain lights up. I've seen science.
Yeah. So what I love about what even connects to this guest that we're bringing in, spend some time talking about what we love to talk about when it's, be the guide versus the hero. Because in a business, you get so caught up in talking about yourself and you're not doing it. Because I know everyone I talk to is not doing it on purpose.
Mm-mm.
But you do it innately because it's how we're wired. It's how we're born. We're born selfish people. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about this interview. A lot about clarity. We're bringing in another StoryBrand guide, a fellow friend.
Another one?
Another one. There's a lot of them, and they're great. Right. So let's just kick off the intro like we do every week.
Welcome in today's guest, Chris Bourland, who is a marketing copywriter and a StoryBrand certified guide. He started his journey in bookkeeping, but always loved English and writing, and transitioned when he realized that writing was something that really lit his fire. So now, he's the writer, editor, and owner of Quill & Lens. Welcome in our guest today, Chris Bourland. Cool, welcome in. Well, Chris, how you doing today?
Hey, doing good, Jake. Thanks for having me.
I think I've met your barber.
Yeah, it looks like we've got the same barber, the same style, beard stylist.
That's right.
Beard stylist, especially once this part gets, basically taken care of.
Starts running that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, happy to have you on. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Chris.
As a StoryBrand certified guide, I am a marketing copywriter. StoryBrand certified guides do all kinds of marketing work, but I focus just on copywriting. Particularly, I work within the StoryBrand community of all these other guides, and I white label for them. So they go out and they meet a client and, go through a strategy session a lot of times, start working on messaging, for either the overall company's marketing or some kind of very particular initiative. And then I come in and I supply the words for website wireframes and for email campaigns and things like that, lead generators, all sorts of marketing collateral. If it needs words and it's marketing, I'll write it for you.
Nice. Do you have a hashtag, I supply the words?
I should. And in fact, do I need to give me?
Let's mark that.
Give me your address so that I can send you the royalty check. Because that's
good. I love it. You supply the words. So tell me then a little bit. Copywriting to me sounds like someone who was an English major who really likes to write. Is that what that means, or?
In my case, that's exactly what it means.
No way. I was just
guessing. No. I have a degree in English. I started out in school, kind of thinking, well, I'll do a bit of everything. In fact, so I started out majoring in accounting and management and minoring in English.
Okay.
As time went on, I realized that no, it's really just the English and the language and writing that really fuels me. And so I focused on that. So I have a bachelor's degree in English, and it only took me 12 years or so to put that to work, but I finally did. So So I feel good about that.
That's good. That's good. I think there's some stat that said like 75% of people don't work in the field that their degrees in.
Yeah.
It's something crazy like that.
Yeah, I was definitely part of
I kind of came back around because I'm a broadcast journalism major, and I did marketing.
Yeah.
But now I'm doing lots of podcasting, so that kind of works, right?
Nice. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So, well, okay. So you did the English thing. You said you did some bookkeeping, things like that.
Mhm.
What about writing like excites you, gets you going?
I think it's people would call it the creative process, and that's kind of generic, but I think specifically within the creative process, what gets me going is uh, people call it flow, I guess. That state of where in the case of writing, the words are just pouring out of you. And a lot of times you might even find that you're writing and you're not even sure what you just wrote. It was just the right thing. And then you look back and you're like, oh, yeah, that was pretty good. And you realize that you've just been in this really creative flow. And that kind of, I don't know, that state of creation, that state of inspiration is what really started speaking to me going back to school and deciding that I wanted to focus on English. I took a few creative writing classes, and that I discovered that flow, that feeling of inspiration. And I was like, and I never experienced that in, any other, kind of intellectual pursuit or anything like that. And so just made sense, right away. And, being able to turn it into a job eventually, is something I wanted to do.
Are you looking for a framework you can just tune into and follow? Are you tired of chasing tactics and strategies that never get you to the growth as other people? Here's the thing. Frameworks are what make dreams work. It's not sexy, it's not shiny, it's just the plain old truth. Are you currently working in a successful framework? Without a clear framework, you're aimlessly wandering, trying to recreate something you didn't follow a recipe for the first time. You'll struggle to find the right steps to get you more leads and more great employees to grow with you. It's as if you're looking through shattered glass. You see glimpses of what you did well, then your vision is lost through all the cracks. All because you didn't take action to start working in proven frameworks. We know what it feels like to chase all different kinds of tactics and strategies to try to get success. It's like a fog has obstructed your vision and you don't know what to do next. That's why we use proven frameworks and step-by-step plans that lift the fog of confusion so you can have a clear path forward to revenue growth and audience reach. We want to help, so here's the plan. Step 1, click the link below and sign up for the course. 2, follow the steps. And finally, grow your company and feel awesome because you finally found the formula that works. Imagine knowing exactly what your next move is. You have a system that runs for you and a team that is full of energy and excited. The people you're helping are excited and sharing their experiences with others. You are the company people want to work with. That can be you. Just click the button below and start the Quirk Growth Plan course.
So, we talk about here on Clarity and Purpose that, to steal from Donald Miller, if you confuse, you lose, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you take that creative flow and turn it into things that actually create action for people? Is that something you can describe to people, or?
Well, it's I guess I look at it like the flow in marketing copywriting comes when you've got that message kind of purified and clarified and simplified to the point that it's almost like a springboard kind of into the actual copy, because you have kind of like say you're working on a marketing message. Well, you might develop a message and you might develop it in terms that the people who run the company understand, and you might develop it in terms that they're familiar with, and then as long as it's pretty clear though and pretty simple, you can then take that and turn it into language that the customer is going to engage with, and so I think that's actually kind of when you're writing more creatively, I would say what I would say creative, like when I'm writing for myself, maybe when I'm writing, just to get the words out of my head that have nothing to do with marketing, nothing to do with my business. You almost feel like you run into this gigantic wall of words, and you're trying to pick out the words you want from the gigantic wall, because there's just so much stuff. There's so much stuff you want to say, so much stuff you could write about. And then, though, you come to a really great clarified marketing message, and now it feels like you're already like a step ahead in that search for the flow. Like you're already, it's much easier to get into that flow. So if anything, it's almost like the having that clarified message beforehand is what gives you and lets you get into that flow, and lets you really reach that kind of level of creative inspiration, I think.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about frameworks in all the circles we talk in, and they've heard it here on the podcast as well. Is the basics, the foundations are what get you to the spot where you can actually start to shine, and then so like you're talking about, if you're able to figure out kind of what that really specific thing you're trying to communicate is, that allows you to. Would you say allows you to be even more creative?
Yeah, I think so. It's certainly the springboard into creativity, I think, is because like in the StoryBrand framework, you build out these 7 elements of the story. Those create the brand script, and that's that basic messaging document, that foundational document that then you use to to inspire the web copy, because the web copy is not going to be what the brand script says necessarily, and if it is, it's probably not super exciting, because the brand script is meant to convey a whole message in one way. Well, you then want to pluck the different strings in that message. Donald Miller, to borrow from him again, he talks about plucking those different strings to create different chords, and that's what music is all about. And same with, marketing, you're plucking the different strings of the story to create a chord. And when you spent some time clarifying that and focusing in on that, then you sort of have those strings, those notes ready to go. And if nothing else, that saves you a bit of time and gives you a bit of maybe a bit more time to be creative, in the sense that you can spend time just kind of rearranging elements you've already defined, and you have, seems like, more possibilities just right off the bat.
So for those that don't know, the framework, like you said, is a 7-step thing that when you get done with it, you can use a lot of different ways. So when we talk about it, is it's a filter to speak through from now on. Yeah. Something that you have now that you know that if you convey this message this way, you can do it a lot of different ways, but here's how we're speaking about things. So would you say it's tougher? Would you say you take more people to understanding what it is they're trying to say, or helping them say it better?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say in my experience, it's been more helping people figure out a way to say something better. But there are a significant number of times that, it's helping people figure out what they're going to say, period. And whether that's because, I'm working with a client who is a startup, and they really are, they are at square one. They're just talking about business plans at this point, and the marketing is just part of one of the things they need to get in order to get off the ground. Then a lot of times it's going into that story brand process, that brand script process, looking for what are we going to say. And the brand script, the story brand elements, give us some sort of signpost as to where we should start looking for things to say, and then, but then, the rest of the time it's helping refine a message that's kind of already there. And again, using those signposts as kind of like, we know the benefits. Now here's the signpost to tell us how to talk about the benefits, So, but sometimes, you may not have those benefits, really defined all that clearly yet either. So.
Yeah. That's a good point. So when you get to the point when you're ready to write for someone, is it a process where it's different for every client, or is that something where you pretty much know what you're going to get 80% of the time, and then you just kind of have to spend that last 20 refining, if you will, against that wall of words that you get to see?
Yeah. I'd say, when you're using a framework like StoryBrand, once you've kind of worked through that the process a few times, the process emerges. Now, that's just me because I'm maybe that's just me because my process side of my brain is not quite as developed as I think it could be. And that's been a lot of the fun of being in business for myself has been learning that part of it. It's one thing to have the great clarity around how to execute messaging and how to what signposts to use when we're looking for ways to talk about our message. But it's when you compare that to the other side of the business, which feels like chaos, the business of business, which feels like chaos, then it kind of, that clarity really stands out. But no, I think the beauty of a thing like StoryBrand is that a framework like that is it does get you to the point where, like you said, there is a solid process for 80% of the work. And it's not that 80% of the words are the exact same every single time. It's not like it's not a Mad Lib or something like that, right? But it's 80% of the work. 80% of the thought can be, channeled kind of the same way over and over again. It's like, all right, let's think about it through this lens, through this filter, over and over again. That 80% of it, that makes up that 80% of the work. And then it's the 20% is the looking at the thesaurus, for there's just got to be a different word we can use here, but it's so helpful when you have that those channels to kind of run the bulk of the thought through, and I've definitely experienced that.
For sure. Yeah. I think that's part of the genius of the model is that you can do it that way. Yeah. So if someone was trying to do a StoryBrand exercise for themselves, what do you think the biggest challenges people have with that is when they try and step through that themselves?
Yeah. So, I imagine, someone, taking the book, building a StoryBrand and, working through saying to themselves, okay, I want to brand script my company, and whether they own the company or it's just the company they work for, but you're going to brand script it. The first stumbling block is actually the first block, which is the character want. And sometimes it's really easy to say to ourselves, well, the characters want, for example, when I was brand scripting my own business right away, I said, what does the character want? Well, they want a beautifully written website. Well, no, they don't. No, they don't. They want more business. They want sales from their website. If the website's beautifully written or if it was written in crayon, they don't care. They just want the business from the site, and that got me thinking, kind of in that more zoomed out view that, folks come to marketing consultants, and the marketing consultant might think, well, they want great marketing. Well, they want the results of great marketing.
They want great leads.
Right. I go to the Ford dealership, and not because I go to this Ford dealership over this Ford dealership, not because they've got the red car and they've got the blue car, but because it's a lot easier dealing with the people who have the blue car. That's all I care about. A car is a car, and I just want a smooth process. I want something that's not necessarily exactly what that business would say their business is. The dealership would say, we sell cars. Well, from my perspective, you've given me great service and a smooth process, and that's really what I wanted the most, because I can get a car anywhere when it comes down to it. So it's like we want the want is sometimes tricky, because it's that kind of bigger want, or that kind of emotional want can be much more compelling than, I think we want to make it something super, super tiny and specific. But if we can make it emotional, then it's compelling.
Yeah. And kind of in that same thread, we also find that it's like really the basis of where Don started the whole thing was that we're not the hero.
Right.
We find a lot of businesses have a really hard time of letting go, especially when they're writing, like web copy, for example, of the fact that they keep writing about themselves instead of the customer.
Oh yeah.
Previewing one yesterday, the same thing. And they had gone through it themselves and sent a link over. And I was like, this is all about you. Guess what? You have the layout right. You have the format right. You've even used some of the phrases from the book, but it's still all about you.
No, that's exactly right. That is a hard thing to overcome. And I've experienced that before, where a client has come to me and said, we love StoryBrand. We love this idea, not necessarily StoryBrand, but we love the idea of making the customer the hero of the story. And we, the company, we are merely here to be a guide to the customer, to their heroic journey. And I say, great, that's so awesome. Can I see, what have you got so far for your wireframe? And, oh, right, yeah, let's show you. And they throw it up there on the screen. The very first word is we.
Yep. And is this the before or the after?
yeah. It's like, oh, no. We are helping you. It's like, no, you try to anyway, start out with you, and what's the customer going through, yeah. Mm-hmm. But that is so hard.
It's so hard for ourselves. I was talking to the BMS group of certified coaches, and we were just kind of talking about that a little bit for our own stuff, because as we'd gone through the training, we're like updating our own sites and different things like that. And it's always the hardest for yourself. And the metaphor that I love is that it's like you live in this glass jar. You're inside the jar. You know everything that's going on inside the jar, but everybody from the outside sees the label. Mm-hmm. So you can't see your own label. Other people almost always have to tell you what's going on the label, because you're on the inside, not the outside.
Right.
So it gets the best of all of us, not just our clients, right? We're guilty as well.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, you started that way. So
the curse of knowledge. Yeah.
Yep.
We walk in there knowing everything there is to know about our product, our service. And it's hard to get out of the headspace of ourselves and into the headspace of somebody who may be looking for the results our service or our product, brings, without necessarily, they're not searching specifically for that service or product yet. They're searching for the results. And so it's like,
the internal problem versus the external problem. So they're looking for an answer to a problem, not benefits and services yet.
Right.
Cool, man. Chris, well, we appreciate you coming on and sharing a little bit about your journey and the StoryBrand stuff that we love so much. And we just thanks for sharing some of what you've been doing.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, man. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. So we've got this thing that we do when we leave because we're called Quirk, right? So we're a little bit out there. Like we like to do stuff a little different. So when we leave, we like to dance out of here. So you ready to show us your moves?
All right. It's a good thing I've got my pants on. So, well, wait, would that actually
That is good. I'm going to get up. So you were already one ahead of me. So,
okay. So I just,
all right, cool, man. Hey, I got to say, of all the guests we've had, that was one of the most handsome. Bald, bearded, you know.
You would say that, I wear hats just because they look good, not because I have to. You know what I'm saying?
The selfish episode.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, hey, we just want to say from the bottom of our hearts, if you followed with us from the beginning of Clarity and Purpose, or you're just now jumping in, we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. There's a lot of great podcasts and shows out there. As we close out this year into this grateful season and this holiday, we just want to say thank you. We hope you have an awesome Christmas next week. Good time with your family and friends. I know it's been a crazy year, but we just hope you have a good week next week. We'll be off, but we will be back that last week of the year because we're doing a little mashup, right, Jake?
Yeah, I love mashups. My favorite type of music is mashups.
We're going to do a little mashup to kind of wrap up 2020, and it'll be fun to kind of look back on some of our favorite parts and episodes we've done this year. But hey, have a great Christmas, and we truly believe when a business leader aligns their team with their message, they become unstoppable.